Mr. Shaler?
Here.
Mr. Fuller?
Here.
Mr. Coleman? Ms. Materney? Mr. McCarthy? Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Van Oozen?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here. Everyone can join in, stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I believe everyone has received a copy of the meeting minutes from our meeting on May 4th of 2021, if anybody can remember what was said at that time. But if there is no objections from any of the members, I will consider the meeting minutes passed.
No objections?
No objections.
No objections.
Okay, so we'll consider the meeting minutes passed at this time. Mr. Warnemont, since you are the president of the cemetery board, I was hoping that you might be able to go over the 2023 budget that has been distributed amongst the members.
Okay, I'm Bob Warnemont, chairman of the Perrysburg City Township Union and Fort Nick Cemetery. In the past, we sent out all the paperwork to everybody ahead of time that you can research it to move this meeting along a little faster than we did in the old days. So on the budget, if there's any questions, we try to answer it. If not, we'll go on with a couple of points what we're doing at the cemetery.
Any questions from the board on the actual budget itself?
No questions? No questions.
Do we need to have a roll call from the George Cemetery Board to set the budget, or is that? Okay. So if there's a motion to accept the.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Britton?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Shaler?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Oozen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And we have Mr. Warnemont here to go over some stuff in the cemetery, but we do have one matter regarding him as well. If he's
Okay,
so
does everybody know that Tom Freese retired after 37 years? We did interview people for the superintendent's job, and we're happy to announce that Steffi Cox is moving up as superintendent. Steffi's been at the cemetery for 24 years. She understands the workings, and we got faith in her to run the cemetery as well as Tom did. And she learned a lot from Tom. Everybody learned from Tom. So fortunate enough, we was interviewing for superintendent. And after we picked Steffi, we had another gentleman who was interested in superintendent's job. And I asked him right out, I said, would you be interested in the assistant superintendent job? And he says, certainly. So we did pick Holly Brenneman as our assistant superintendent. He'd be starting in 2 weeks. Brings a lot of knowledge to the cemetery, what we can use. So we are fortunate that he will work with our people and we work with his knowledge to make it a better and safer place out there. Over the last 3 years, 4 years, we talked about what we was doing with our fence out there. So this year, if you've been down Indiana Avenue since it's been open, you see a big section of the fence is missing already. We've taken it down and moving forward. I had 4 comments already that how beautiful it looks. So we probably get some negative, but I got 4 comments already how nice it looks. And one was from an engineer who is, the engineer on the job out there, he don't even live around here, said, boy, it makes a big difference to see that fence down. We have one concern with the bike path. I did talk to Barry. He's taken it to committee, put some markings on it since the fence is gone. Hope people don't think that's another road they can drive on like some did while Indiana was closed, so. We're doing the best we can out there. We're doing, cemetery's looking good. It's gonna be better now since Indiana Avenue was open. We had probably 10, 15 phone calls a day how to get into the cemetery. Poor Linda, she was on the phone more directing people than trying to do what we needed her to do. But we all got through it. The help of you guys in the last 5 years. The city has been great, the township's been great, helping us getting things done out there. So cooperation is the biggest thing, and I think we got it working 100%. Any questions?
Talking to Linda before the meeting, she said that the fence along Front Street will stay, and we're gonna come up a little bit. Right, I just wanted everyone to hear that, right?
Right.
From Front Street, just like up to the first gate.
Front and around the gate, yes.
And that fence is still in pretty good shape there, isn't it?
Most of it is, yes. We're gonna make sure it's all good time it's done.
It's a good one. That's gonna look really nice.
Anything else?
So in terms of the plan design, it will come up how far? To the guardrail or
It just passed it.
just past the guardrail?
It'll come up Ivy.
Okay,
As you come up the hill, it'll come up to that first pillar.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be a big improvement. It's something we beat around for, what, 3 or 4 years here, and cemetery workers, they got right on it, and matter of a
Right,
couple
they-
days, had a lot of it taken care of.
We got a lot of good things going between the city and township out there, so, and we want to keep it going, so. Any other questions? Just remember one thing, you're always welcome to come out there, and we'll take you through the cemetery and show you what goes on out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I know as a member of the cemetery board, I cannot express any more appreciation of both the township and the city for all the help that they have contributed to the cemetery. And again, to Stephanie and Mr. Berberman back there, congratulations. They are going to be great candidates to help the cemetery move forward. We're excited for Stephanie to be officially the superintendent here, and for Mr. Berberman to take over as assistant superintendent. For those that don't know his background, he was the service director for the city of Maumee in years past, and so I think he's going to bring, as well as working with the city cemetery over there, so he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge from the outside to help our cemetery move on to the next stage. So.
Yeah, we're excited, so.
We do have one pressing member. We do have to reappoint one of our cemetery board members, Mr. Warnemont, out here. Without any objections from Mr. Warnemont, I would like to make a motion that we extend his term.
And I will second that.
Any discussions? All right, roll call.
Mr. Britton?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Shaler?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes. Thank you for all you do, Bob.
And we have one more item here as well, the cemetery tax levy. So this is one thing that we have to make certain we do as well as every year. We have to pass a resolution for the ongoing collection of the levy that is used to fund the cemetery. Without any, I'll make a motion here before you get into discussion. So I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 1, 2022 of the Cemetery Board.
Second?
We'll probably do it the same way we do City Council.
Okay.
So we'll do a roll call to bring this one to the floor. So if we have a roll call. This isn't to actually approve it yet.
Mr. Britton?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Shaler?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller? Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Resolution 1, 2022, a resolution to determine the rate of the tax to be levied upon the taxable property of the municipal corporation and township for such purposes.
All right, I will make a motion to move that Resolution 1, 2022 be passed.
And I will second that.
So any discussion regarding the resolution or any questions or concerns? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Britton?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Shaler?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
All right. Next item on the agenda is any cemetery board matters. Is there anything else for the good of the board regarding the cemetery? You want? Yeah, feel free.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
First, I'd like to congratulate Tom Freese on the completion of his 37 years as cemetery superintendent and wish him well in his retirement. And also, I would like to state an appropriately designed fence should be constructed on Route 25 and Route 65 on the original Fort Meigs Cemetery. The purpose of this would be to prevent easy access to the cemetery proper by vandals and to prevent the possibility of vehicles leaving the road and crossing into the cemetery. This has happened at least a few times in recent years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bourne. I know that, I said thank you. And for the concern with where the vehicles have crossed, and I'm going to look at our cemetery staff where we've had incidents where the vehicles have hit the fence. That area, the fence is staying up. So the areas that are coming down are the areas where we haven't seen that similar issue. So.
Mr. Smith, I think that a lot of comments that I've heard from people in the city is that they're concerned because it is a historic cemetery and it's the original cemetery, and they're concerned about vandalism and damage. I think that's the concern as well.
Okay, thank you. We'll make sure to have that conversation with the board. Thank you. Any other thing good for the good of the board? All right, hearing nothing, and if there's no other business, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no objections, we are